So I've got a practical pattern for you today. A lot of you have probably heard of Fran Betters' The Usual. What I'm going to tie today is based on that one, but it's not exactly the usual because I'm tying this one as a sulphur. It's late March and the sulphur hatch will be happening here in Maryland starting in just a few weeks. So the one I'm about to tie for you differs from Fran Betters' The Usual in that he usually tied it with a red or an orange thread and then very loosely dubbed the body so that you'd see some of that orange or red through the body. And I'm not going to do that for this one. I'm going to go ahead and tie a yellowish cream body because, I want this one to be a sulphur. And here in Maryland, we do have a couple of different sizes of sulphurs. On the gunpowder, they're pretty small, usually a 16s or 18s, but on the Savage, we do have some of the small ones, but we also have them as big as a 12. So the one I'm about to tie for you right now, I'm going to tie it in a size 12. So this one is one of the bigger sulphurs. If I was tying this in a 16 or 18, I probably wouldn't do this style with the snowshoe hare because it's just a little bit hard to tie down that small. But overall, Fran Betters' The Usual. It's a great, effective pattern and really not that hard to tie. So there we go in the vise, a usual tied as a snowshoe hare sulphur. So I'm tying this on a size 12. This is a 1 extra long barbless dry fly hook. And I'm going to use yellow thread. So this is how this one of the ways this is differing from Fran Betters' typical The Usual. So let's go ahead and catch this in anywhere up front and leave it, I'm going to tie in the wing first. So leave it, several eye lengths back. And so take a medium to large size tuft of snowshoe hare's foot fur. And when you're doing a usual, you will save this under fur. You'll pull that out and that'll be part of the dubbing. I'm not doing that in this case because I want this one to be a good bit more yellow than the snowshoe hare's fur. So, all right, let's lay that right there and envision that, a big tuft going upright. I'm gonna spin my thread clockwise, cord it up a little bit, and immediately go into some tight wraps. Now this will spin around the hook on you if you're not careful. So we're gonna be careful. We'll go ahead and take this back. We're gonna have a little drop off back here, but that's gonna be okay. So one of the things I'll do, we're going to really prop this up with our dubbing in a minute, but I'll put a couple wraps under it and maybe even if you want, put a wrap just around the fur to kind of keep it a little bit bunched up on you here. Okay, see that's kind of bunched together there. I think we're going to be just fine. And it hasn't spun around the hook on me, so I think we're going to be okay. Now let's take our thread to the back, and you see I'm going to have a little bit of a drop off between my tail and then that thick body there, but that'll be fine. And so our next tuft of snowshoe hare, this one is a little bit less, fewer fibers. Maybe keep it pretty long depending on how long you want your tail. So let's do a couple wraps and take a look at it. Okay, that's a good sized tail right there. We are going to have a bit of this to snip off, but I'm kind of using this right here, this bulk, to fill in this little gap right there behind that front piece. Now we do have a little bit to trim off here though. All right, I think that's going to work. Let's go ahead and put a little wax on our thread here. And now the dubbing I'm going to use, super fine, in a yellow, either a pale morning dun or a sulphur yellow, really depending on what the sulphurs look like in your water. Here on the Savage, some of them are pretty yellow, but then there are some that are mostly a cream. And that's why, I'm going with that bright yellow thread. If this was a standard The Usual, you'd use a red or orange thread and you'd dub this pretty thin so that you would see some of that thread underneath it. Now I've got about a 3-inch noodle right here. It might be a little bit more than I need, but maybe not, because I do want a couple of wraps up here in front of this. You might even want to go just a little bit more. Yeah, I'll do a touch more up front. Yeah, I think we got plenty of room for a wet finish here. So there we go, a very simple little sulphur imitation dry fly tied as Fran Betters usual. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.